Hey there everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And today, I have a new collaborator to be my guest today. So please, help me in welcoming Scott Addison!
Thank you guys. Hi everybody, it's nice to be on the show today, and on the special episode of Mustang Prince Orro Reports.
So, before we get started, let's discuss Disney's hit from 1991, Beauty and the Beast.
A beloved love story based on the French fairy tale by Jean-Marie Le Prince du Beaumont, forgive me if I said it wrong, about a beautiful young girl who is taken prisoner to save her father by a prince cursed to be a hideous beast. Sometime later, they get to know each other and fall in love, which ends up breaking the enchantment on the castle.
Now, this movie has been regarded by many people to be a beloved Disney classic, with wonderful animation, a romantic story, great characters, and fantastic music, thanks to the musical geniuses Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. My favorite songs being, what the heck, I hate choosing, all of them. Speaking of which, I managed to see Mr. Menken at the Segerstrom about 6 months ago.
Plus, this film got an Academy Award for Best Original Song and Best Animated Feature of the year 1991.
But, sadly, before the movie was completed, Howard Ashman passed away from HIV at the young age of 40.
Then in 1994, Disney turned this beloved movie into a Broadway musical with Tim Rice collaborating with Alan Menken. I remember when I was 13 years old visiting New York City in 2002, and we saw a bunch of plays, and this was one of them on the stage. I remember it was a fun experience and very magical, and to see the actors portray the characters like I remember watching the movie as a kid.
As for me, well, I've seen this done on stage several times in my life. A couple were done at a few schools that I visited. Also, if you've seen my Hercules blog, then you might know that I did manage to meet the first Broadway Belle back in December 2013. In 1995, Disney made a spin-off show called Sing Me a Story with Belle, where Belle owns her own music and bookshop, which is visited by local children whom Belle tells and sings stories to, usually with morals relating to something that's happening that day. Now, I haven't really seen the show much as a kid, but all I can say is that this show does great at teaching moral lessons. Plus, some parts do show scenes from classic Disney shorts, like the Mickey Mouse cartoons, Silly Symphonies, Winnie the Pooh, and others.
Then in winter 1997, Disney made a Christmas midquel called Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. I remember seeing it when I was 8 years old, and I didn't watch it as much as the original. One thing I remember about it as well is it wasn't as good either.
But to me, it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me, because it does mention on what happened when the Beast was cursed, and that it takes place after Beast saved Belle from the wolves. Plus, I did like some of the new characters, especially the villain played by the great Tim Curry. And the songs were pretty decent as well. But for more details on that, I'll just save that for this coming holiday season when I do a blog on it. Unfortunately, I can't see the same for Belle's Magical World, which got released a year later.
Why is that?
Well, it's because it doesn't really feel like a movie. It's more of a collection of short stories from a failed TV series.
Oh.
But just recently, Disney gave us, believe it or not, a live-action remake of its beloved Disney classic. But the question is this: does it do the original justice, or does it suck?
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Gladly. So, released on March 17th, 2017, the movie is Beauty and the Beast. So, let's begin. A young prince, imprisoned in the form of a beast, can be freed only by true love. What may be his only opportunity arrives when he meets Belle, the only human girl to ever visit the castle, since it was enchanted. As Belle stays more with the beast, she learns that true beauty is found within. So, what did we think of it? Well, I absolutely loved it. To me, it does the beloved original movie justice. Plus, it feels like the stage version too.
I liked it too, but I do like the 1991 animated version a little bit better, because this version was a little bit too long at 2 hours and 9 minutes.
But before we get into more details, let's move on to Mustang notes. Disney began work on a film adaptation of the 1994 Broadway musical. However, in a 2011 interview, composer Alan Menken stated the planned film version of the Beauty and the Beast stage musical was canned.
By April 2014, Walt Disney Pictures had already begun developing a new live-action version and remake of Beauty and the Beast after making other live-action fantasy films such as Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, and The Jungle Book. In June 2014, Bill Condon, the guy who directed the Twilight, was signed on to direct the film.
Before Condon was hired to direct the movie, Disney initially approached to remake the film in a more radical way, almost akin to Universal Studios' Snow White and the Huntsman movie.
Principal photography on the film began at Shepperton Studios, forgive me if I said that wrong, in Surrey, England on May 18, 2015. Filming with the principal actors concluded on August 21st. 6 days later, co-producer Jack Morrissey confirmed that the film had officially wrapped production. Everything in this film looks fantastic, from the Beast's castle, the village, even in the woods.
There are also several parts of this movie that feel like the stage musical, like Belle's song, Gaston's song, Be Our Guest, even the title song, Beauty and the Beast. Plus, when Belle is shown to her bedroom, I could easily hear an instrumental version of Home from the stage musical. Also, some people have told me that the best parts of the original movie was the rivalry between Lumiere and Cogsworth. And here, I think they pretty much got it nailed. Now, since everyone knows about most of the songs, let's talk about two of the new ones.
One of them was called How Does a Moment Last Forever, which was sung a few times throughout the movie. The first time is with Maurice in the music boxes in the beginning of the movie where he invented them. The second time was when Belle tries to escape the castle. And the third time was at the credits being sung by Celine Dion. And that was a beautiful song for the movie.
The second song is called Evermore, sung by the Beast after Belle leaves the castle to save her father. To me, this song almost makes me think of If I Can't Love Her from the stage musical. Plus, it's very powerful, especially when Josh Groban sings it during the end credits. Anyway, now that we got Mustang notes out of the way, let's move on to the cast of this movie. Our main heroine, Belle, is played by Emma Watson, best known as Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter franchise. Also, this would be the second princess she played as. Remember the Tale of Despero? Anyway, Belle is a beautiful young woman who loves to read and sees the humanity in the Beast, which leads to her falling in love with him. I also think that she's a very independent girl, and I also like the part when she teaches a child to read at the beginning.
The Beast, aka Prince Adam, is played by Dan Stevens, whom some folks might know as Lancelot from Night at the Museum 3. Beast was once a selfish prince who was cursed by the enchantress as punishment for his arrogance. He is forced to embark on a spiritual journey to earn back his humanity and break the spell, leading him to fall in love with Belle. To me, he's not as scary as Robbie Benson's performance, but he's awesome when he protects Belle from the wolves. But the interesting thing that he does is show Belle a book that takes them to Paris, where Belle was born.
Next we have Belle's father, Maurice, played by Kevin Kline, aka Phoebus from the Hunchback of Notre Dame movies. In this version, he does not create odd inventions. He spends his time creating music boxes instead. Some of these music boxes represent different countries and were tailored as such so that Belle may experience the world without actually leaving their town. And, like in the original fairy tale, he plucks a rose and is punished as a result, rather than trespassing in the castle.
Next is our villain Gaston, played by Luke Evans, best known from 2 of the Fast and Furious movies and the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans. In this film, Gaston is an arrogant and barbaric soldier turned hunter who seeks to have Belle as his trophy wife. Mostly, he's a jerk, but he shows his true colors by locking Maurice in the insane asylum, and after he finds out about the Beast and Belle liking him, Gaston intends to kill him. To be honest, the best scene is during his fight with the Beast while the castle crumples. Now that was epic.
Gaston's sidekick, LeFou, is played by Josh Gad, who has been in Frozen and Pixels. He constantly helps bolster Gaston's ego and gets very little in return, eventually defecting from him. In my opinion, LeFou is pretty funny, and I also like that during the ending battle, he turns to the good side.
Next, we have Lumiere, played by Ewan McGregor, best known from Robots, Valiant, and the Star Wars prequels. Lumiere is the Beast's romantic boutillier, who has been transformed into a candelabra. He was very funny and charming, especially when he sings Be Our Guest.
Cogsworth is played by Ian McKellen, aka Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogies. Cogsworth is the Beast's loyal majordomo and the head of the household staff, who has been transformed into a mantle clock. I find Cogsworth to be a strict but likable character, especially when he gets into a fight with Lumiere.
Mrs. Potts is played by Emma Thompson, who has been in Brave, Saving Mr. Banks, and Treasure Planet. Mrs. Potts is the motherly head of the castle's kitchen, who has been transformed into a teapot. She's sweet and hospitable, especially when she sings Beauty and the Beast, and does a phenomenal job at singing.
Mrs. Potts' son, Chip, is played by Nathan Mack. I absolutely love this little guy. He always brings me a smile every time he's on screen. And I'm also surprised at how fast he moves while he's on his plate.
Madame de Garderobe is played by Audra McDonald. Garderobe is a renowned opera singer who has been transformed into a wardrobe. Now compared to her animated counterpart, I find it kind of creepy that her face and mouth are in her curtains. But sometimes she can be pretty funny.
Next we have Plumette, played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw. God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, she's the gutsy maid of the castle and Lumiere's love interest, who has been transformed into a feather duster. I find her to be very pretty, and I'm surprised that she can fly while cleaning up the castle.
Next, we have Maestro Cadenza, played by Stanley Tucci, who voiced Leonardo da Vinci in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Cadenza is a celebrated court composer and Madame de Garderobe's husband, who has been transformed into a harpsichord. To be honest, this guy seems like a good guy version of Maestro Forte from the Enchanted Christmas. It's interesting that he uses his keys for his mouth.
The last character we need to talk about is an old woman named Agatha, played by Hattie Morgan, who was in Alice Through the Looking Glass. She's a resident of the village who in reality is the beautiful enchantress responsible for cursing the beast. She watches and manipulates the events between Belle and the prince, secretly acting as their guardian. I find it kind of interesting that she has a bigger role here than in the original. I also like the part where she saved Maurice from almost becoming wolf meat. And now, let's move on to our final words. Overall, this version of Beauty and the Beast, in my opinion, is a romantic and musical masterpiece, with wonderful scenery, fantastic songs, old and new, plus the actors do great playing their characters.
I thought it was great, but not as good as the 1991 film. It was gorgeously looked and shot. The movie felt very magical.
But if you are a fan of the original, then we highly recommend you check this movie out, and be sure to bring your whole family with you. So together, we give this film a rating of 97% out of 100. Well, that's all for today, everybody. I'd like to thank Scott Addison for helping me out with this blog and being my guest today.
Yeah, no worries.
So, until my next blog, viewers, this is Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and Scott Addison saying, Mustang Power!